Okay. What usually causes people trouble on a problem similar to this is forgetting that cosine squared of 3x means cosine of 3x all squared. Like that. So they're asking me to find the derivative. So dy dx. So we'll play the game again. Just raise your hand and tell me my first thought. I'll pay you. Andrew?
Well, I just had a question.
Yeah, please.
So when I solved this problem, I just did it, I used the product rule and did cosine of 3x times cosine of 3x. Does that work as well?
Uh-huh. So Andrew's question, just for the video, is can I find the derivative of cosine 3x times cosine 3x, then use the product rule? Absolutely. Not better, not worse, just different. I would make sure that this method makes sense so that the exponent's more like a 3 or a 4 or a 5, the exponent here. You'd never want to use the product rule. It would take too long, but yeah. Anybody else? Please.
Power rule?
Power rule first. 3 points for Todd, 3 for Andrea for asking. So I need to use the power rule, so somebody tell me what to write using the power rule. Let's go, Melissa.
2, and then in parentheses, cosine 3x, and then 2 minus 1.
3 for Melissa. I got to write something else, though. Zach?
Times the derivative of cosine 3x.
Perfect. It's a really good review question for Unit 2, so 3 for Zach. You would need to talk about that, wouldn't it?
You wrote the 2 outside of parentheses, but on the problem it says it's cosine squared. Like, where did that change?
This will kind of sound like a dumb answer, but I'm hoping it will help it stick in your head. Why is your first name Nick? They just chose it, right? Yeah, fair. Like your parents just said, hey, we like this name. We're going to call our son Nick. I don't know the history. Maybe Mr. Rucky does. I'm guessing many hundreds of years ago, they used to always write this like this. And then I'm not good at sarcasm, but I'll make a feeble attempt. Someday they said, hey, everybody's understanding math far too easily. Like, we can't have this untenable situation of everyone understanding math. So instead of writing this, which everyone understands, no one gets confused, we're going to write this. And just declare them to be the same.
So it's the same.
That's it.
That's stupid.
That makes so much more confusing.
I told you, everyone was understanding this just fine.
Then the squared only applies to the cosine.
No, that's not just. See, they were geniuses. They're like, we want the whole world to like be confused, so we'll just do it like that, and you know. That's my sarcasm is really bad. I'm not good at it.
So if cosine or like a sine or anything is up to a number, you can put it outside of parentheses.
That's what it means.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that you can. It's like that's what it is. I don't know if I explained that very well, but.
It's kind of like, just to say, it's kind of like in English where there's many different ways. I mean, there's a myriad of different ways. I mean, there's a plethora of different ways in which we can describe something.
Funny.
So
Very good.
it's the same thing that we do in English language as well. There's just multiple ways in which you can write something that means the same thing, but it's just different ways.
What I've noticed is with math, it seems to me the pattern is if a mathematician can think of a way to write something more concisely, they will. And so they said, hey, that gets rid of 2 parentheses. I'm doing that.
Yep.
So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a good question. 3 points. We're good to hear? So now what? Yes?
You write the 2 cosine of 3x, and then take the derivative of cosine of 3x. I mean, not, yeah.
Yeah, you're fine. So what do I write here,
So it'd
Janessa?
be negative sine of 3x, and then d of 3x over d.
There we go. Okay, 3 points for Janessa. I deliberately made a mistake in my notation. If you can find it, I'll pay everyone who can find it. Hands up. Like Janessa said all the right things, I did not write it correctly. The way it is written, it's wrong and lose points. Like what have I done that's incorrect as far as how I wrote it? So Christine? Looks like I'm subtracting. Right here, this is factor times factor times factor. The next line's got to be the same thing. Factor times factor times factor. How many saw? 2 points. 3 for Christine. All right, please.
Do you have to then put it, do you have to put it as parentheses? Or would you still lose points if you would put like the multiplication in the dot?
A dot?
Yeah, just wondering.
Gotcha.
I know which one's better for our intents and purposes. I'm just wondering if you'd still left.
As far as I know, if you put a dot, there's no way they can take it away. You're thinking what I'm thinking, which is the dot. I always get stuck. Like, well, I kind of like the dot, but it's kind of dangerous because it looks like a decimal or it gets blended in with this subtract, or you know what I mean. But I don't think there's any reason they can take it away. Cameron?
So with next, you would just like do the 3x to the dx, would that just turn into 3?
Mm-hmm. So because this is 3, notice I have factor, factor. This is really -1 times sign. So I'm just going to put together all the numeric factors. 3 times -1 times 2 is -6. Few points for Cameron. Questions? Please.
Oh, never mind.
3 points. Nick?
Are you allowed to put parentheses around the sign of 3x just to make sure, like, you know it's multiplied?
Yeah, as long as you don't put parentheses where they don't belong, you're fine. You can always have extra. It doesn't hurt anything. Is that what you meant? Yeah, 3 points for Nick. Anyone else? You don't have a problem from the buff packet that you would like to